Since I can't reveal myself to my mother now, I must find a discreet spot to attend the ceremony. This is despicable. Mother, why have you come here? This is proving far worse than I imagined. My mother would die if she were to see me in this state. I must wait.
I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. We commend unto thy hands of mercy, most merciful Father, the soul of our sister departed, and we commit her body to the ground. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Why kill my Mary and stick her here in this cold, god-awful place?
These are the legal requirements for the epidemic, madam.
Oh, Avery, please take me home.
Yes, madam.
Oh, Mary. What have I done? If I could only change one thing. One thing. This is a nightmare.
Jonathan, there is nothing you can do but accept it.
What brings you here?
I thought you could use the company. I am so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
She was a good person. Vibrant, full of life. She was kindness incarnate, my Mary.
You're a good person, Jonathan. And a young Ekon. A newborn cast into the night without so much as a candle to guide your way.
She had been scouring the most dangerous parts of London in search of me. And it led to her death.
Jonathan, don't.
I still hear her last thoughts. They echo in my head. Her mind shattered, and it haunts me.
Jonathan, stop. Listen carefully. You must come to terms with this. You must learn to live with what happened.
I'm learning. Every night is a new lesson. What I am, what I must do to survive. But my sister, she shouldn't have suffered because of my weakness.
Don't you see? You're doing the work of our enemies, feeding your remorse. We are weakest when we grieve, and the guilt blurs our senses.
And so this is why you're here. To warn me. You felt this pain yourself. You too have endured this.
I don't want to lose you, Jonathan. I've lost so many friends. Loved ones I cherished. Pray for Mary's forgiveness, if you must.
You may be right.
Of course. I've stared upon this world for centuries, and time has taught me to deal with guilt, if not erase it.
What should I do then?
St. Mary's Church is not far from here. Go there and make your peace. Find the solace you need.
My lady wants me to confess.
No, Jonathan. It's you who wants to confess, I think.
And off to church he goes, a newborn seeking divine consent to lick the blood from the soft and pointy crown.
Who are you? Make yourself known.
Newborn, you reek of guilt and pointless compassion. Shed your skin, forget your old weaker self.
What do you want from me?
Ascalon does not approve of lone wolves who bring unwanted eyes to our pastures.
So your name is Ascalon?
Ascalon's will is vampire law. Learn them, abide by them, or I shall return as your judge and jury.
These immortals try my patience with their plans and unsolicited counsel.
I'd head back up here. Watch out, boys!
This man stunned me with his faith. His crucifix. This is not good news.
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted. I don't know.
May I help you, child?
I haven't the strength to cross the threshold.
The church is shut by order of the bishop, but
You seem to me a good soul, Vicar. But this is a personal matter.
there are no secrets from God, my son. If your heart needs comfort, consider me your chapel. For I can be as silent as stone.
I've words for one departed. They're not for living ears to hear.
Your eyes burn with rage, yet I see the pain that lies beyond. I am here to lighten the burden of all God's creatures. Whatever you tell me is between us and the Lord.
Very well, priest. As you seem quite adamant.
Open your heart, my son. Tell me what burdens you. With whom do you wish to speak?
She was my sister.
You seem so troubled by the loss of this girl. What happened to her?
She was murdered.
I see. And how are you feeling, my son?
I feel responsible. The pain is consuming me.
I have a final question for you, my son. This is of the utmost importance.
Ask your question, Vicar.
What words would you like to say to your poor sister?
I killed you. There's no excuse. My dear Mary, forgive me.
You have been heard, my son, and your burden will lighten if your words are sincere. Go in peace now, and live your life in the way she would have wanted.
There. I confessed to that vicar. Do I feel better? Only time will tell. Hello again, miss. Very well. Good evening, Mr.
And good evening to you too.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek in...
The place is not beautiful per se, but
In what way?
the struggle by
If you say so.
such
Vivid.
Oh, yes?
Do you not think...
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But, will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives?
whom she may know.
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Did you know the Mute Florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir.
Are you not curious?
That girl has not an ounce of malice.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic.
Guilty as charged.
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane?
Not at all, sir.
I'll leave you... Hello again, miss. Tell me about Richard Nethercote. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia. Very well. Goodbye, then.
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
Have you any news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
It appears the dispensary is now a major source of contagion in Whitechapel. Someone should do something about it, but no one cares.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
I'm
Good evening, Christina.
Change your mind, Mr. Reed?
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode.
Why this skepticism?
How could...
Are you talking from...
I've seen your...
What do you know about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
2 girls I know went to the dispensary yesterday. Nobody has seen them since. I worry about them, in case...
Goodbye, miss.
Something going on in this district. I don't know what. Plot I must reveal.
to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I'd prefer not to give you another beating, Baron.
It's locked, all right. Mr. Bates.
Evening.
Have you heard?
Not really.
A man such as yourself.
Heard it closed after the owners died. Refugees don't want to...
You sound disappointed.
As long as she was there at the dispensary, it attracted more...
Why am I...
Maybe it's because you lack faith?
Goodbye.
Good evening, Christina.
Change your...
Goodbye.
Remember your vows, friends! The beast must die! No rest for the wicked! It's done for him! I order you to step back!
Remember you.
Fear be gone. I would harm no child of my making.
This is your doing. You made me. Made me this creature. What are you?
I am the land. You are our champion.
You selected me, chose me.
As shall my children yet to come.
What is it you seek?
This age is sickly. An ancient poison, an older rage, brewed in a cauldron newly forged.
This has something to do with the epidemic.
Seek truth, my champion. Defeat the serpent of knowing with iron spur.
I've had enough of others making decisions for me, pretending to know how I should feel or behave. So the vampire who made me is some sort of disembodied entity. Or was he just projecting this vision in my mind? Maybe Edgar can help me with this one.
As for me, what a bloody idiot. I will not let you down, Mom.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body. All I wanted was to go back to work, to take care of my children.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
What can you tell me about the recent events in the hospital?
That Mr. Hampton killed Miss Jones in her room, then ran away.
And did you see all this?
No. I was working by the tents when it all happened. I only entered the room when they asked me to clean up the blood.
Where is Miss Jones's body?
I don't know. I'd imagine the morgue. It all happened so quickly.
Did you see Sean Hampton leave the hospital?
I think I saw a silhouette exiting the hospital gates after the shouting started. At first I thought it was someone who was just...
Goodbye, Nurse.
Jonathan, my sincere condolences for your loss.
Your kindness is much appreciated, my lady.
Is there anything you require?
I spied my mother at the funeral. Have you ever revealed yourself to a member of your family?
No, Jonathan. And I'd advise you even from thinking about it.
Are we then?
We are
But what if...
Fear.
Are we...
Dying is the...
I don't...
With time.
As a practice...
We are no longer...
Goodbye. Good evening.
Dr. Reed.
Goodbye.
Another night of glorious brutality.
Hey, Doc.
I'll leave.
Perhaps I should reconsider the offer from that cabinet further.
God protect us. You've got a leech in the hospital.
Yes, my hospital. My mission is to heal while you go about warring.
You've set the table for a snake. I wonder why there's venom in your food.
I'm growing tired of your song. You're a woodsman, McCallum, not a doctor. Return to your hunt.
Remember, I've a good nose for machinations. I can flare the scent at a mile. You can't hide from the god.
Leave him, Jonathan. This is sacred ground. Neutral territory. And I just had the carpet cleaned. By the sacred stole, this is very bad news. Bad news indeed.
What happened?
The hospital has been attacked. We have injured patients, at least one dead and several missing. This has spiraled out of control. Even the most infirm are asking to be allowed to return home.
We cannot have the people lose faith in this institution. This hospital is their only hope.
Of course, you're right. But we cannot afford a public scandal. It would ruin us. We must restore order, and quickly.
You mentioned a dead patient. Who is he?
She, Jonathan. She was Miss Harriet Jones. I found her room like a slaughterhouse. Blood everywhere. The duty nurse is taking care of the mess.
Very well. I'll help you.
Jonathan, please. I can't rely on anyone else. And this concerns you as it involves vampires. Someone has taken advantage of our more liberal tendencies here.
In what way?
Jonathan, I may turn my head when you or her ladyship indulge, but I will not allow this place to become a nest for street feeders.
Please then, tell me.
Sean Hampton, the man we thought we'd saved at the docks. It seems he was infected after all.
So Hampton became more beast than man.
Exactly. And now Guard of Prewen suspects the hospital of vampire activity. Do you realize what that could mean for us?
Rest assured, I will protect you and your staff.
McCallum is a fanatic. The Guard will stop at nothing. You don't know what they're capable of, Jonathan.
Very well. Since I brought Mr. Hampton here, Sean Hampton lives and breathes for the well-being of his flock. There's no other place he would go but the docks.
The flower's dying. It needs water. It's locked. Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
Have you seen any suspicious activity in the vicinity, Dr. Reed?
No more than usual.
This is no laughing matter, Dr. Reed. A patient of mine has been murdered. Mr. Fiddick is dead. I should have been more cautious.
Why are you blaming yourself for the death of Mr. Fiddick?
It is our fault. Mr. Fiddick has stayed longer than needed here because Dr. Ackroyd and I could not agree on the...
This argument has nothing to do...
But if we had performed the surgery sooner...
What is troubling you so much, Doctor?
I had to meet face to face with the son and daughter of Mr. Fiddick.
This difficult task is part of our job.
I know. As I also know they'll
Can you tell me anything?
I'm sure it was not your fault, Doctor.
My fault?
Oh, nothing. It's just...
Goodbye.
I'm all right. Don't waste
Good evening, Dr. Ackroyd.
You're the last person that I want to see right now, Dr. Reed.
I see that you are as friendly...
Are you really going to ask me why? That...
How do you think these recent events...
I am not blind. There is something strange...
Don't you think the epidemic is enough to deal with?
Yes, the epidemic. Convenient.
You are troubled by the death of your patient.
Harvey Fiddick died inside these walls, under our watch.
What can you tell me?
Nothing like this would have happened if we'd had enough staff.
So you don't think that...
We all hold fast here, Dr. Reed.
Thank you for your time.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Caliban fellow.
It seems the Priwen are redoubling their patrols in the district. There must be more.
Watch out, boys! Stop! Vampyr! Watch out! It's fast!
Fuck, he's dead!
Best stay back, sir. Did you hear me? Stupid beast! Bloody leech! One of them vermin!
See me. That's what the idiot had to say first.
Good evening, sir.
Who the fuck are you? Don't you see I'm busy here?
Dr. Jonathan Reed, that's who I am.
Ah, some fancy gentleman we've got here. Clear off. We don't want strangers on our streets.
So you won't tell me your name, then?
The name is Booth Digby. Maybe I'll ask my boys to break one or two.
Are you some kind of vigilante patrol?
Something like that, but the police aren't in charge.
So you're a
using funny jokes about...
I saw many...
I could kill you for that.
So, tell me about your...
What? Have you got a death wish? You really...
Well, yes.
Oi! I'm the boss, all right?
What can you tell me?
Things ain't that bad.
Well, you're not doing a very...
Yeah, well, we can...
More efficient.
Incredible.
Do you know where I can find Sean Hampton?
The sad saint. Why on...
He was one of my patients.
Oh, yeah. I heard the poor bastard had been abducted by some cunt. You better ask Tom Watts. He knows Sean Hampton well.
Goodbye, Good evening, miss. I am Dr. Reed. May I ask you a few questions?
Who are you? What do you want?
As I just told you, I'm a doctor. From the Pembroke Hospital, actually.
The Pembroke Hospital, you say? I ain't paying any bill left by Clay.
I'm not here to collect payment, miss.
Miss Edwina Cox. So what do you want then? Fancy buying something from me, maybe?
What can you tell me about your work?
I'm a businesswoman. I buy and sell things, and I send my wet boot boys after anyone who don't play nice with me.
Gang member and shopkeeper.
If you're interested, I may find use of a doctor who could...
You're quite blunt.
I like people who...
I'm not interested in a career in...
Fair enough.
Since my return from the war, I don't...
That's exactly what that stupid trade unionist claimed after it.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
You can't trust anyone around here.
Really?
Bastards, all of them.
You sound like you're thinking of some...
Take the gravediggers of Southwark. They must...
Looting corpses in a mass grave.
Whatever.
I'm looking for...
The sad saint? I heard he...
Yes, he was. But he left hot...
You don't say. Well, I suppose it's good news for...
Can I see...
As long as you have money, I'll...
You again.
Tell me about the man you killed, Booth. What happened?
One of us had been killed, so we had to...
There has to be...
No, really, one of us got killed.
Don't you see it's an...
That's what my sweet Edwina always says, that...
Goodbye.
Mark my word, miss.
Not a drop of blood left in his body. This is the work of a vampire.
I'm a tracker of these creatures. A vampire hunter.
You best be off to your hunting then. For if the sewer dog is back, and hunting all these poor folk, he needs a catching.
A sewer dog? What's it look like?
It's an old story. A monster with daggers for teeth and icy claws. He comes of a sudden, nighttime, claiming innocence, then vanishes.
Teeth, claws, murders by night? Your sewer dog is my business. He's the kind of prey I hunt, milady. Good evening, sir. Have you
And what do you define as a...
My name is Ichabod Throgmorton.
A vampire?
I know what...
Mr. Throg...
A man of science.
What can you tell me?
Did you hear about what happened to Jack Gillingham?
It's impossible to protect everyone.
But it's my duty.
So...
I patrol late at night.
Can I help?
Actually, yes. I plan to...
Are you asking...
If you wouldn't...
How do you identify...
It's simple, really.
Have you ever killed one of them?
Of course I have. What kind of...
Have you heard of the Guard?
Of course. They're dedicated hunters.
Were you...
I did think about it, but I...
So you hunt alone?
Vampires are just...
I'm looking for...
The sad saint? He should be at his night asylum.
Really?
It's nothing personal, Doctor.
I could make...
All I will say is this.
Maybe at least you...
Tell you what, go and chat with...
Goodbye. And good hunting, Mr. Throgmorton.
I should shut the turquoise for a time. Perhaps I should shut the turquoise for a time. Times like these, a good drink's just as likely to cause a problem as to solve one.
Good evening, sir.
Whatever.
Don't you recognize me? We met a few nights ago.
Don't take it personally. I spent a lot of energy forgetting what I did the night before.
Yes, you had definitely drunk too much then as well.
I'm Dyson Delaney. I'll try to...
What do you do for...
I drink.
Why do you drink?
Maybe it's because I prefer dying.
You sound very...
That's because...
Don't you work?
I'd love to, but I don't have the time.
Is there anything in particular that you like about this part of town? Except for the cheap drinks, I mean.
How dare you say such a thing? I love this neighborhood. So friendly. So joyful.
No reason.
Let me tell you.
All right.
A few years ago, when I believed
What kind of...
It was a bomb.
You lost people you...
I've lost everything. But you know what?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. If you ever...
Is there...
How dare you say such a thing?
No...
Let me tell...
Another...
Is... How dare you...
Why?
Cynicism is the...
Surely...
Sure.
Sounds...
No.
Do you really...
No.
I want to know more about your...
I'm still in that.
Do you still...
No.
Do you believe...
I do not.
I'm looking for Mr. Sean Hampton.
I really don't know. I heard he'd been abducted.
Who could tell me?
About the sad saint.
Goodbye, Mr. Delaney.
I should just run as far away from the place as I can.
Evening, miss.
Well, I never. That's a first. Customers who make that much mess rarely come back. Never mind.
I'm much more myself than when we first met.
Welcome back to the Turquoise Turtle then, Doctor. I'm Sabrina.
What can you tell me about...
People don't appreciate that line of questioning.
You look concerned.
This is a bad borough. Most people I know are afraid.
If you're uncertain about...
I've got responsibilities.
This place seems...
We get people of all sorts.
So this bar is neutral?
Yeah. Tom's convinced this is something the local...
Your boss must be...
Yeah.
Miss Cavan...
You better ask Tom's.
Why not answer...
We respect the privacy...
Goodbye, Miss Cavan. Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, sir. How are you tonight?
You remember me, then?
Of course I do. You're that man who seems...
Thank you for your hospitality.
I'm still Tom Watts.
What can you tell me about the...
It's not that bad. Thanks to people like the sad saint...
Who?
Sean Hampton, our own private holy figure.
Why does your waitress feel in danger?
This part of town is dangerous for all, but for women...
Do you think she has good reason to feel this way?
Of course I am. The truth is, she's...
How is it you can keep this place open?
Well, since everybody needs a drink,
I see. So...
Or something like...
You're some...
I'm only pouring...
Since I'm...
Well, perhaps...
How could a physician help you?
I have a small warehouse, just past the...
Doctors aren't...
Oh, thank you, sir.
Tom, I need to find Sean Hampton as...
I heard the sad saint was recovering.
I believe he returned to his...
Oh, I bet you're right. Sean can't help.
Please, tell me.
Well, I don't like to gossip, but I heard that
The important thing is
why not try his night asylum? He takes care of that.
Where is it? Where is it?
It's in an old warehouse, northwest of here. Just follow the bank to the...
Goodbye, Mr.
I should have offered a drink to the boy. Be he cursed or not, he's just another lost orphan.
A laugh.
Poor Jerry. He didn't deserve it.
Damn, a few clients. I think drink over the epidemic.
I cannot enter. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Why must it all...
I was just being polite.
I don't like questions. Or doctors.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
A shithole filled with maggots.
Are you thinking...
No. Hate them all.
Is there no one who deserves you?
Well, Tom from our local is somewhat of a decent bloke.
What's your...
I take care of my mum. That's what I do.
You seem upset.
I lost the necklace I bought her. I'm a fucking idiot.
Sometimes it's hard.
I just want her to smile.
Any chance you can have...
The sad saint.
Actually...
Really? Well, go ask someone else.
Goodbye, Miss... Good evening, madam. I'm Dr. Reed. Could I come in?
Why? What do you want?
I work at the Pembroke Hospital. I'm investigating the flu epidemic in this area.
Oh, the Spanish flu. Well, that's quite liberal of you, Doctor. But this is no time to be knocking at people's doors.
The disease takes away the good people too, madam. Why not let me in?
It's Mrs. Fishburne. Stella Fishburne. And yes, indeed. Why not let a doctor in? Please don't stay too long, sir. Gentlemen are easy. So you have questions about the...
Yes.
Forgive my rudeness at the door.
How is life around here?
Life has always been hard in the East End. But it's everywhere nowadays, isn't it?
Do you think the increase in violence has anything to do with the epidemic?
Don't know. But it's most likely linked to the gangs, if you ask me. Recently, it's like everyone has had to pick a side.
Violence has always fed on poverty, don't you think?
And selfishness is their rotten...
May I ask what you do for a living?
Since my husband died, I worked at the Dawson Rope Factory, but it closed before the war. I occasionally help at the night asylum, in exchange for food.
Did your husband die in the war?
Oh no. My Jack was a docker. He died.
How do you pay the rent, then?
My Seymour works at the docks, just like his dad. He's very attached to the house he grew up in. It's not all...
I'm trying to locate Mr. Sean Hampton. Do you know where he could be?
You talking about the one everyone calls the sad...
The very same, Miss Fishburne.
I'm sorry. I don't know where his shelter is.
Goodbye, Miss Fishburne.
It's locked,
Just
all right.
eyes in the back of that head, sir. Gentlemen are easy targets in these parts.
Seems like the guard of Freeman is on Sean Hampton's trail, too.
I'll send you to hell! Crush the leech, boys! It's too fucking fast!
Crush the leech, boys! Stay! Want some of this?
I have this thirst for blood.
It's locked. It's locked. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. May I have your attention for a minute?
Good evening, sir. My name is Giselle Paxton, but I don't...
Have we met before?
No, but I just need to look at your fancy clothes to...
That's quite judgmental.
Sir, I've led enough strikes when I had a job to...
May I ask what you do for a living?
I'm killing myself scraping for a living. And you? Have you ever had to struggle in your entire life?
As I told you, I'm a doctor. You have to work a lot to earn that title.
Oh, a doctor. Born with money in a nice house, were we? Was Daddy a banker or a doctor himself?
Why such hatred? Are you judging me by my clothes and my job?
Course I am. Fuck, you're so blind. You don't even see your privilege. Lazy people like you disgust me.
What can you tell me about this vicinity?
Tell you what, just spend a few weeks here, and then ask me that question again. If you're still alive, I mean.
If you have something to say, say it. I'm getting tired of all this.
Oh. You want information instead? Well, here's some for you. Giselle Paxton does not like you at all, Doctor.
You don't know me, Miss Paxton, and yet you see me as an enemy.
Oh, your manners, your clothes, your words tell me everything about you, sir. I know your kind, and you don't belong here.
Oh no, Miss Paxton, you really don't know my kind. You have no idea who I am.
All right, okay. No need to get all worked up.
You speak of strikes and class enemy. Am I right to assume you're involved in trade union activism?
You bet I am. Well, I was. Nowadays, I'm just another worker blacklisted by the big companies.
You lost your job because of your beliefs.
Those bastards really hate a worker who refuses slave wages and unsafe conditions, especially when it's a woman.
Isn't the whole point of trade unions to help workers in need? Why don't they support you?
A few nights back, I lost the money my companions had asked me to hide. With me and my sister being penniless, they thought I stole it.
What really happened?
I drank too much that night. Strange men saw me count the money in that bar. Some sort of militia in uniform. I'm sure they robbed me.
I'm looking for Sean Hampton. Can you help me?
What is it you want? Does he owe you money? Has he displeased your Royal Highness? I'm no snitch, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Well, I'll leave you.
Come, your kind's not welcome.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Can I help you?
A fancy doctor lurking at night by the docks? Not fishy at all.
And what about you? Working outside at night in this dangerous part of town?
You want to know my secret? I'm trying to earn money. And I'm Lottie Paxton, by the way.
Is it not dangerous to work here at night?
As long as I have good legs, I can run away from trouble. The sad saint now provides me and my sister a bed and a roof. I don't want to lose that.
Are you homeless, Miss Paxton?
Mr. Hampton's night asylum is our new home now. It's a safe place for me and my sister.
What can you tell me about the Sad Saint?
It's just the nickname of Sean Hampton, the sad saint of the East End. He gave me shelter, and he's not always sad.
What can you tell me about this place? How are things here?
It may be okay for a strong girl like me, but a dandy doctor from the city like yourself, you better watch your back, Mr. Reed.
You really think I should go back to a safer place, miss?
No. I think you had better stay and help as many people as you can. Just avoid the wet boot boys. Those bastards are worse than the epidemic.
Which local dangers must I avoid?
Well, the gangs, the thieves, the drunks, the jobless. A man with your fancy clothes will attract a lot of attention.
Well, I am not someone so easily intimidated.
Glad to hear that. And if you get into trouble, you can always seek help at Shornhampton Shelter. No one would dare to be violent there.
I'm looking for Sean Hampton. Can you help me?
Mr. Hampton must be in his office at the night asylum he manages, I suppose. Why do you want to see him?
He was a patient of mine at the Pembroke Hospital, but he left abruptly.
I see. Well, Mr. Hampton is a discreet and dedicated man.
Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
This Seymour worries me. Perhaps Sean knows something about him.
What have we here?
Promised you would make everything right, Mum. But it's not been that simple.
It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right.
Why the long face, Doctor?
It looks like we both have changed a lot. I must confess, it saddens me, Sean.
Put your faith in the Lord, Doctor. He has a plan for all of us. We may not always see it, but he does.
Since you left Pembroke, the amount of blood that has been shed, it's hard to believe you, Sean.
Ask what you will. As the Lord is my shepherd, I will not speak a lie to you.
Aren't you afraid of what you've become?
We are blessed, Doctor. Can't you see it? The Lord has made us able to walk amongst the plague and aid those that need it.
Do you think this is a blessing when God's own house and holy symbols repel you?
If that is your burden, Doctor, so be it. But I do not fear the cross, nor am I forced to take the life of another. My kind doesn't share your imperfections.
But you must drink blood now to survive.
No, not your scripture. Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. So saith the Lord. I only need to eat flesh, no blood.
Why return here?
This is my home. These people are my flock. You will always find me where I am needed.
Wonders never cease. Scal managing an asylum.
And what of you? A vampire doctor? Meals laid out before you. Yet you restrain.
And what about William Bishop? He tried to take care of you. But this hunger, this thirst, cannot be restrained.
Alas, poor William. He had a good soul, but was weak in spirit. He could not shake the thirst for booze, never mind blood. But have faith. My will is far stronger than his.
Why did you kill Miss Jones at the Pembroke Hospital?
Killed old Harriet? You must be mad, Doctor. Why would I do such a thing?
So you claim Miss Jones' death was not by your hand, nor the other incidents at Pembroke?
Though Harriet was an angry, spiteful woman, she was one of God's creatures. I have nothing but love for all he has made.
But you were close to her.
Of course. But she was lost, separated from the fold. She did not see the hand of the divine in my blessed condition.
People have been murdered. I've seen the blood. I don't believe you can be trusted.
Have a little faith, Doctor. If you will follow, I will guide you to the light.
How do you plan to do that?
Take this key of the old sewers. The entrance is by the riverbank, south from here. There you'll find all the proof you need.
I have to see for myself. But your sense of purpose and calm gives me some relief.
I'll be here when you return. If you still think I'm a threat then, well, I'll surrender myself to your judgment.